Welcome to Home Buying Made Easy, the podcast where we pull back the curtain on mortgages, real estate, and everything the big banks hope you never figure out. Michael Dendy is a licensed mortgage loan officer with Edge Home Finance, and I'm Rachel, co-host and producer of the show. Every episode, Michael and I break down the stuff that actually matters without the jargon. This show is designed for everyday people like you and I to learn the home buying process so you can buy smarter, save more, and stop leaving money on the table. Now let's dive into today's episode.
Welcome to Home Buying Made Easy. I am Michael Dendy, a mortgage broker, and we are kind of going over all things mortgages, real estate, kind of walking through how to go about buying a home and what you might have to do, answering questions, that kind of thing. I have Rachel in the studio with me who refuses to be on camera again. But here we are.
I have approximately 30 seconds of airtime every episode, so I don't need to be on camera.
Ah, I see. Well, today is Mythbuster Monday, which means we are busting a myth. I really wish we could use like a tag, like a music right there. Yeah. You know, we probably could.
I could have Zuzu and Mary Kate do a little jingle.
Do a little ditty.
Could do something.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Today is Mythbuster Monday.
Yep.
And we are covering a question that we got. And it was, if rates might drop later, I might as well buy, right? Is that a myth or is that true?
You should wait to buy or you should wait to buy. I would say that's a myth because prices continue to go up in housing. Like there hasn't been really a year over year. Like if you're saying, hey, I'm going to wait. Are you asking like, hey, rates are high right now, I'm going to buy next year? Is that like waiting a year?
I don't know. It's just if rates might drop later, I might as well wait to buy.
Okay. All right. So let's play out the scenario. If you wait 1 year, what was the cost of the higher interest rate? We'd have to do the math. And we have a cost of waiting calculator that we can go over with you, which is kind of cool. It'll tell you literally the cost of waiting. Yeah. Because if your interest rate was at, let's say interest rates were higher and your interest rate was at 6.25%. And you were waiting on rates to go to 5 because the difference between 6.25, and 5, the difference in payment was, let's say it was $100. Just picking a number. So you want to wait. So you wait for a year. Now that year would have cost you $1,200. Mm-hmm. Like, because you would have had a higher interest rate, higher payment. So it would have cost you, if you went ahead and bought right now, it would have cost you $1,200 more on your interest rate, right?
Right.
You follow me there?
Yeah.
Okay. But if year over year, the average across the nation is a 3% increase in housing, in value. Mm-hmm. If you're buying a $100,000 house, which is impossible or near impossible, if you buy a $100,000 house and then you next year want to buy that $100,000 house, that based on those year over year numbers, your $100,000 house now costs $103,000. So you waited a year to try to save $1,200. And your house now costs you $3,000 more. So you lost $1,700.
18.
1,200, 18. Math.
$1,800.
Yes.
So you would lose in that instance.
In that instance, you would be losing next year because you're paying a higher price for the house.
Yeah.
Now, if you're in a flat market, there's pockets in the United States that maybe it's flat and it didn't go up, or that's even declining, that's a different story. But like, it's hard to know like what a house is going to be worth next year, you know? So it's hard to know what the interest rate's going to be next year. So my thought, I would, and this isn't just coming from a mortgage pro that says, hey, you should buy now because you need to do a mortgage. Like, do a mortgage, don't do a mortgage. Whatever it is, when you make your decision, you got to pay for whatever those consequences are, you know?
Yeah.
Either you're going to have a higher rate for a short period of time, and then you could refinance later, or you're going to pay more for the house. That's just how that works.
Yeah.
Interesting. There's a piece of property that's right down the road, and in 2020 or maybe 2021, somewhere right around there, Mama and I looked at it, and we were like, it was 7 or 8 acres. It was kind of nice piece of property, and there wasn't a building on it, so there was no house, and there's still not a house. The property was $225,000. It's on the market right now for $450,000. Same piece of property.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And now we're looking at it going, there's no way I'd buy it for $450,000.
Yeah.
You know? Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So first question is I want to talk about some historical patterns that come with rates. So question 1, do they go in cycles, or do they stay elevated without dropping significantly over the years? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of a catch-22 kind of question, because the historical pattern of mortgages over 40 years has an average interest rate of 6%. The problem that we are currently having with the housing market is the federal government gave everybody in America money in 2020 because of COVID. That reduced the value of a dollar, causing the Treasury, the United States Treasury, to not be worth the same thing that it was.
Right.
I'm giving you this background for a reason. Since that's the case, the interest rates bottomed out to recover and help the economy, boost the economy. So interest rates went down. People think the federal government controls the interest rates. They don't. The bond market does. The 10-year Treasury bond market is what affects interest rates, mortgage interest rates. So the mortgage interest rates that had been hovering in the 3s and 4s, I would say 4.25 in 2019, maybe 4, all of a sudden bottomed out. And they started doing this and started going down and down and down, to the point that there were mortgages that were there were 3. I can remember I did 3 mortgages in one day. Like I locked 3 mortgages in one day just when it went under 3%. And then it kept going and went to 2.5, and it went to 2.25. There were some mortgages we did at 1.75. Like,
that's crazy.
Because that was the value.
Yeah.
Like the value of the dollar was lower.
Yeah.
And so rates had to help recover the economy in that situation, or boost the economy in that situation. So then people thought that was normal.
Yeah.
And so that's where we're at today, where people are like, oh, well, I got a really good rate. And I still have people, oh yeah, I have a 2.99. Okay, well, we might not see 2.99 again.
Yeah.
we definitely, I seriously doubt we'll ever see 2 again. But people are still hung up on, hey, I got to have that low interest rate. And so they wait, or they currently have a mortgage with that low rate because they refinanced during that time. And so they don't want to make the move because they know that rates are nowhere near that now. And it's going to cost them twice as much or almost twice as much, you know?
Yeah.
So do they go in cycles? Yes, they go in cycles based on the economy. So if the economy is doing better and there's inflation, then you're going to get rates that are a little higher. And when we go into a recession, the rates usually drop in order to help boost that economy. And that's all related to people buying and selling paper, 10-year bond.
Yeah.
They're just like there's the stock market and mutual funds and stuff like that. There's bond market.
Yeah.
People buy and sell them all the time.
Okay. Yeah. So thinking about all of that, should or can, not should, can someone lock in their rate, buy a house now, and if rates drop later, refinance? And if you're nodding yes,
I am.
If that's the case, what do refinance costs look like?
Okay. So that, yes, the answer is yes. You can buy a house, lock in, you get a rate now. And let's say that rate is at 6. And then, a year from now, the rate's at 5. You could refinance and you would get that lower rate, whatever the rates are at that time.
Yeah.
So if that's how that was going to work, the cost of the refinance depends on the type of program that you have. So if you're going to refinance into an FHA loan or from an FHA to an FHA, or you're going to refinance and get an FHA loan, you're going to have to pay what's called upfront mortgage insurance. So that plus the title insurance plus the closing costs, depending on I would say it's roughly probably 2% of whatever your loan amount's going to be. That's just a general guideline. Doesn't mean they're going to be that like in stone. It's just between 2 and 2.5 maybe percent is going to be kind of what the closing costs are.
Yeah.
And that's on a FHA. On a conventional, it might be a little bit less because there's no upfront mortgage insurance. A VA has a special program called the VA IRRL, Interest Rate Reduction Refinance Loan. And that loan is very inexpensive, doesn't require you to go in and recalculate income and there's no appraisal. So there's some savings there because you don't have to pay for another appraisal, and there's, that kind of thing. You still have to do title and some closing fees, but it's definitely less. So I would say 1.5 to 2.5% of whatever amount is probably what you're looking at.
Yeah. So is that, thinking about it, let's say rates drop in a year, that's a good investment, I guess.
Yeah, that would be a good investment because you've already saved money because you bought this year instead of next year. So you saved having to pay a higher price for the house. Then when you refinance, you're bringing that rate back down. And we have clients that are rates aren't terribly low right now, but we have clients that are still calling and refinancing because they closed, when we closed, the rates were closer to 7, 6.5, 6.875, 6.75. So we've been able to refinance them down into the 5s, or in some cases with VA loans in the 4s.
Yeah.
So there's definitely options to be able to get lower rates in the future. And the payoff, the way the way our team does it is we look at how long is it going to take to recoup your money. That's also the way the VA looks at it. If you can't recoup the money that it costs for your closing costs within 36 months, the VA won't even do the loan.
Mm.
The VA, I shouldn't say that. The VA won't allow you to do the loan.
Yeah.
The VA does not do loans. The VA gives the guidelines for the investors who do the loans, but they won't allow it if it's over 36 months.
Interesting.
So the saving, so you have closing costs. Here's an example. If you have $4,000 in closing costs and you're only saving $100 per month in your mortgage by taking the lower rate, that's only $3,600. Mm-hmm. That doesn't cover the $4,000. You can't do the loan.
Interesting. Huh. I didn't know that. Interesting.
It's a protection for veterans.
Yeah, that's fair. Fair. Okay, so last question is, if someone listening is unsure about whether to buy right now, what type of questions should they be asking themselves, or maybe call you and ask to kind of assess?
I would say the best option would be probably to start the process so you know what you can afford, what you're comfortable paying, mm-hmm. because there's a thing called, it's a real thing called payment shock. Payment shock is, hey, I was paying this in rent.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to have to pay this.
Yeah.
And so you need to be prepared for that. And sometimes there's no payment shock. Maybe you're paying, I mean, in certain markets, you're paying $2,000, $3,000 for your rent. And now all of a sudden you're going to get a mortgage, and it's just be smart, because if you're going to get a mortgage and it's going to cost you $2,000 to $3,000 anyway, that's a better investment, because now part of the money that you are paying in your mortgage is actually your equity.
Right.
You get to keep it.
Right.
When you are renting, you are essentially paying someone else's mortgage.
Yeah.
So here's a food for thought. This is your ding, put a little light bulb above your head if you want.
Okay.
Here it is. If you think rates are high and you don't want to buy today because rates are 6% or whatever they are, go ahead and pay rent for another year. Your rent is 100% interest.
Yeah.
Your interest rate on rent is 100%. Your interest rate on your mortgage is determined by your mortgage.
Yeah.
So do you want to pay 5 or 6%? I should have done 6, 7. Do you want to pay 5 or 6% for a mortgage, or do you want to pay 94 or 95% higher
mm-hmm.
and pay 100% for your mortgage, for your non-mortgage?
Yeah.
Because you're paying rent.
Yeah. It's true.
It's food for thought.
It's true. It's true.
So like I said, we have a cost for waiting analysis that we can go over with you. Feel free to reach out. It's free. You can, we'll show you anything you want to know about the mortgage and what it's going to cost, and different programs that are available to you. And if you are interested in finding out more details, you can reach out. We'll see you next time.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Home Buying Made Easy. If you're ready to take your next step, our team is standing by. You can call or text us directly at 615-499-6335. You can also reach us at michael@dendyteam.com, or check out the link in the show notes below. Whether you have one question or you're ready to go, we'll meet you right where you are. Thanks for joining us. From our team to you, let's make home buying easy.